for the board.
That's right.
Get a couple of those.
Video. Are we starting? Yeah.
There should be doing that.
Yep, that's working. All right. All ready to get started?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming. This is a regular meeting of Board of Navigation and Canal Commissioners, Willis County Navigation District, Wednesday, January 14th, 2026, 9 a.m., 400 West Hidalgo, Suite 200, Raymondville, Texas. The commission may convene an executive session during the meeting to discuss any agenda item as authorized by Section 418.183 or Chapter 551 of the Texas Governmental Code. If the commission enters into executive session on any other item, the presiding officer will announce the applicable statutory authority. First item is review and consideration of previous meeting minutes.
It's like 265 was the last one I saw. 278.
Are y'all getting these before the meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know I am, so I just wondered if everybody was getting them.
Move we accept the minute.
Motion made by Commissioner Kendrick. Second by Commissioner Reyes. All in favor?
Hey.
All opposed? Motion carried. Public comment. Mr. King?
Thanks, John King. I'm an old Corps of Engineer, captain, retired veteran, construction officer. We operated live based on this field manual, 5-34, Corps of Engineer, which says storm drainage will be accompanied by slope drainage minimum of 0.5%. We're not in favor, or speaking for the 10 people who homestead residents along West Fort Drive. The sale of lots across the street. Not really in favor of that. We have 5 basic reasons. Number one, storm drainage. Secondly, rain and tidal surge experience. You're saying that lots 26 through 33, which are the 200 feet south of 1044 West Fort Drive, serve as plain old drainage, topographical language. It's a surge facility. It also occurs at lots 49 through 52 and 59 through 61. I will say this though, there's also the utility easements and the lift station, which is a kind of an odorous facility, but nevertheless, it's along the street right of way, which is very wide. It's over 100 feet in width, even though the paved portion is only about 25 feet. The view, well, that's one thing too, that residents who live along the west side of Westport Drive, enjoy the sunsets and sunrise that you can see. But main thing is Honey Hickman Public Fishing Dock is the most popular fish cleaning facility provided by the district. We see as many as 6 to 8 vehicles there on a given evening. It's just a way of saying any sale of those lots would seriously hamper public acceptance and agreement. The embankment at the water's edge is rubble, concrete rubble, and is extremely hazardous. There's one point there where it's an attractive nuisance. You better have public liability insurance, because if somebody falls off of that plank, climbing across rusted steel sheet piling, he can get injured seriously. It would be a serious injury. Those are the 5 basic reasons that we think that the sale of it would be a mistake. We would recommend that the Honey Hickman Park be adopted instead. It's a nice spot to have guys who like to practice their golf tees, because we find golf balls there all the time as we walk our dogs and pick up litter. There's just some things about that area that are open spaced and are just perfectly wonderful. A real nice feature for Port Mansfield. So that's what we recommend. And if you have any question about storm drainage, this is the boy. And it tells you everything. Right now we have a series of, might even call them moats when it comes to rain. And there's sheet drainage going across the street, especially happening over there just to the north. Depends on which direction you're thinking. North of 1044 West Port Drive. The roof of that board aluminum also drains into that same area. There's just so much storm drainage facility that's working there, it would be a mistake. Because any house that's built there will have to be at least 9 feet above high water mark. If it's at the high water mark 9 feet, it'll block drainage, the storm drainage that I'm talking about. So that's my recommendation as an old officer. I'll tell you what, as an architectural engineer, you've got to do some planning. You've got to do planning.
Thank you, John. Kathy?
Morning.
Morning.
My name is Kathy Acosta. I am a resident of Port Mansfield and Chamber of Commerce president. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. First, regarding the payment of electric service to the Port Mansfield Library. Historically, this payment was handled by the Chamber as a community courtesy. However, upon review, the Chamber Board determined that payment of the library utilities is outside of the Chamber's legal scope, has formally voted to discontinue that expense. At the same time, the Chamber does not want to leave the library without power or place it in a difficult position. Because of the library is located on property listed as belonging to Willacy County Navigation District, we are seeking clarification as whether district is the appropriate entity to assume responsibility for the electric service going forward, or to advise on the proper path for smooth transition. This request is not intended as criticism, only as a request for clarity, so responsibilities are aligned correctly, transparently, and in a way that protects the library and the community. Second, I would like clarification regarding the parking lot at the end of Eastport Drive. specifically responsibility for routine upkeep such as parking, paint lines, and general maintenance. This question arose following a private conversation with Eric Kennedy, Chair, and I felt it was more appropriate to ask here in an open meeting, so the answer is on the public record. Thank you.
Thank you, Kath. Next item, Board Affairs monthly update. Emmett?
Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate your time. Appreciate being put on the agenda. What I'd like to be able to do today, we've put together a 2025 audit and summary of where we started and what we've been able to accomplish. Got copies in front of you, and if you could do your best, I know everybody likes to go to find out who shot JR at the last page, but if you could follow along with me. There's a lot of technical aspects of what we do. There is proprietary information. There's trade secret information that's also for the benefit of the Williston County Navigation District. All of the performance reporting is on a cloud file in which your marketing committee has access to as we perform work and generate reports on our activities. We populate this drive, so it's at your access at any time. The way I'd like to be able to move forward on this is I want to start with the technical description of what we were asked to perform. I'll translate that into common sense language as to how we went about trying to get it done, considering the atmosphere of 2025 and messaging and unification of what we were trying to accomplish, and then get down to the actual results. Now, I want to preface this with the understanding, for those of you that aren't familiar with the new methods of advertising and marketing, digital marketing is so precise that it's not uncommon for our clients to complain that, well, I didn't see it, or I'm not sure what, where it's happening, right? It's not like having a billboard on the side of the road. Our methodologies are extremely specific, right? And so the big question becomes, well, how do we prove we did what we did? How do we know that anything took place, right? I mean, we can run a ton of ads, but if we ran the wrong message to the wrong people, ultimately there'll be no result. So the definition of result in our world is, are we getting people to engage with the message? And engaging with the message is driving them to the website, getting them to have more eyeballs on our message, okay? And so in order to prove that, in order to give everybody neutral, bona fide, trustable information, we use third-party audit tools. One of them, most importantly, which is installed into your website, is Google Analytics. It's completely free. It's actually part of your tools, but we went in and modified it so that we can see the attribution of exactly what click came from where. So whether they clicked, you just typed your name naturally, organic search, or if it actually came from our ads and the effort that we can see specifically what it is. So we'll be able to identify in this presentation exactly what kind of specific and direct impact we had on driving more interest and more eyeballs to our website and the message that we've been trying to convey. And keep in mind that where the methods are very technical, user habit and user preference are no different than everybody in this room. We don't click on things we don't care about. We don't click on sales that we have no interest in buying. And so the way that we verify not only is the traffic and the volume of activity, but we're also going to see just what people did when they got to the site. Because one of the concerns in the digital world is, well, you can feed a bunch of fake computer bots and run up the numbers and make it look like things are happening when they're not. Well, bots don't click on things on the website. And so we can actually see the events in the site as well. What are they doing? What are they reading? What pages are they going to? Is this recurring? Like your website supplies a payment tool for your community, for example. We can separate that activity, recurring activity, from brand new eyeballs and visitors. So I'm going to do my best to streamline this presentation, get right to it. If anybody needs further communication, I'll do my best to answer it within the time that we have. That said, I would strongly recommend that at some point we have a group marketing conversation where we can have a deeper dive into that strategy in detail so we can all feel comfortable with what it is that we're doing and who we're targeting and why we're going about the way we're doing it. It's not a voting meeting. It's not that kind of thing. It's simply a collaboration discussion about our recommendations for 26 and how the board ultimately wants to tell that story and get it out to the right people. Okay. So the first thing that we'll do is, and I apologize for the technical nature of this, but I've pulled our service agreement. And so what I've done is I've gone line by line and I've created a quick note. Okay. So the term complete on each one of these line items is self-explanatory. Some of these items we're simply doing assessments, consulting, etc. The portions of this project that require that we perform a service that concludes itself is written as complete. Those that are ongoing services, you'll see complete and continues, that kind of thing. Those are ongoing services that just need to be done on a monthly basis. So I will focus on the components that are not necessarily listed as complete, just to provide the clarification. One of them, assisting, coordinating, training, and guiding the district's elected officials and personnel in disseminating information to the public to include speaking engagements, interviews with media, literature, and related activities. Work in progress pending new director appointment is the note. Specifically, just the contentious nature and the difficulty in forming a message in 25. We look forward to having a more unified story to tell, driven by the new director's focus and vision, and et cetera. Let's see. The rest of them are all essentially complete. On the second, on page 4, where we're talking about all those items are complete. Some of these bullet points are maybe a bit redundant for other requests on the same page, or maybe elaborations of a more bulleted, summarized request. Let's see. Drive unity messaging with the unidentified local communities, work in progress. We can talk about that messaging. Obviously, between 25 and 26, that messaging is changing. And so we can discuss that in detail if anybody has any questions. Something, for example, project development messaging and outreach report says complete, and then outreach continues. That's just, again, maintaining and forming new content and new, telling the community what's going on. And I want to define the community. Okay. And so we I think in this context, we use the term community because we're specifically focused on the relationship or the communication between the community that lives in the Port Mansfield area and the board, which is important. But the community that we're referring to is municipalities, sister ports, companies that are looking for development of business that we're looking for. So when we refer to that community, we're talking about industrial manufacturing and shipping communities. The one item where I wrote deferred by committee, build community support tools into the website. That was something that in regards to prioritizing all the things that we're going about doing, the creating support tools in the website, as y'all could, if you recall, the contentious period between your website hosting group and roles and responsibilities. We just kind of put that one on the back burner until we can get more clarity on that. Creating a digital newsletter accessible through the website and the app. Digital newsletters require that the client, the entity, have things to talk about and driving a message that effectively make a newsletter worth reading. And because we really did not have a driving message, we substituted that with press releases pending the new director. Let's see. The rest of them are complete and continues. Does anybody have any specific questions on any of these bullet points that we want to make sure that we address in this presentation? Okay. moving on to the more user-friendly language of what the heck are we doing? Professional maintenance of a favorable public image was the first half of our responsibility, and then the actual technical setup of what we do. So what we decided to do for the professional maintenance of a favorable public image was effectively control the message, focus on the core mission, lift the dialogue, and promote the Port of Port Mansfield commercial development interests. We've heard the board loud and clear. We need to stick to the knitting. We have this board has a responsibility. There's a mission, and we need to focus on that. And that's exactly what we did. As we're discussing this, I want to make it abundantly clear to everyone on the board, not a penny has been spent on anything else. The suggestion or the concept that we're trying to promote local businesses in Port Mansfield, et cetera, that simply is not the case. Every effort, every bit of content, every modification, everything that we've done is strictly focused on promoting the port's growth opportunities. When it comes to messaging development, like once we've actually understood what it was that people wanted to talk about, because the brand itself of the district was in a bit of a flux, we decided we needed to brand the program. And so we created a brand for this effort to promote the port, reintroduce the purpose of the navigation district by providing and adding those contents, which for whatever reason weren't previously included in the website, building the content that supports the mission, identifying the key messaging targets, promoting the Port of Port Mansfield for commercial development interest, and most importantly, sticking to the mission. Okay. Any questions here? When it comes to the public relations technical support, we have developed and created where the port originally was effectively a single channel point of communication. We had a website. We did not have social media. We were not communicating on any of the platforms. The volume of platforms out there that we can use to our advantage are extensive, and we had a lot of construction to do. So creating identities on key digital platforms, building the interest engagement funnel. Interest engagement funnel in the simplest terms is getting somebody to see a message and getting them to actually engage and follow through and see the things that we want them to see. That entire process is part of what we own. We don't simply run PR campaigns. We don't really simply run ads out and hope somebody figures out if they like it or not. We're constantly monitoring and optimizing the relationship between views and clicks. We want to make sure that there's a healthy flow of interest from the target ad down to the place where we put our message, which is on the website. Relying the website content for optimal engagement and conversion. Effectively, what we did was all the content was built by us. The flow strategy, the user flow strategy, like what people do when they get onto the website, where they go to get what they want, was all developed and designed, and your website team executed that plan. Okay, so where they went in and plugged in the items that we needed them to do. We modified the methodology and how we present the story so that we get more people to sit and engage and pay attention to the website. Actively managing the published narrative across multiple outlets. One of the most important things about search engine optimization, which is effectively getting Google to serve you on a search result when somebody looks for something, is that we have to have content everywhere. We can't simply have messaging on a website. Okay, we have to be affecting social media, where some of us in this room may not necessarily engage with social media. Maybe we're not exposed to it. The internet is all connected. It is an information universe. And the more things that we have about ourselves on multiple platforms, the stronger our message is. And the more tools like Google see us as the authority in those specific service industries. Actively manage the published narrative across multiple outlets. That is ongoing, and that's effectively making sure that all those tools are being utilized, et cetera. Any questions about this so far? Okay. So the message itself. building the marketing message. We went in and created a new program development and logo creation. All right. We had to birth a baby and then tell people what that baby was about. That included controlling and improving the core of our narrative, which is on our website, and then going out and using all these wonderful platforms that reach people to get people to engage on our message. Aside from social media creation, aside from websites, we have press release articles that we run and get published on a monthly basis. And I'll show you the specific results of that, which are pretty impressive. Funnel press release content to the website for engagement optimization. We talked about that funnel management. Professional photography and video production. We've published a video which was technically beyond the scope of what you guys what was written in black and white. We have a 1-minute production video promoting the port, as well as some 30 and 15-second spots that are used for ads and promoting. The 1-minute video is intended, aside from it's published on YouTube right now. So aside from being on YouTube, aside from being on our website, this 1-minute video is intended to be used by everybody in the organization as we get interest or solicitation for potential partners, that it's something we can send out as we're cultivating and nurturing those prospects. It can be used as a loop video when we go out and we're at conventions or we have physical a presentation at events. And so its use is as far as we choose to make it. We also took portions of that video presentation and we have improved the visibility or the view of the current website by putting video just making a more appealing video and slowing people down and getting them to stick around the website and see what it's about. There's a brief timeline on page 9 as to what all took place. It's by month. Obviously, these are bullet pointed short summaries of what happened in every month, but I'll let y'all go through there and view. The only portion of this process, when we hit July and about beginning of September, when for whatever reason we got into this conversation about roles and responsibilities between the two vendors, the website people versus what we do. And our next slide will explain to you, hopefully, the very specific difference between what your website people do and what we do. Thankfully, the board moved swiftly. You created a marketing committee, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart for doing that. It streamlined our process. It gave us the ability to move forward and put in place that the things that, frankly, we were hoping to have in place by the end of June, once we made all our assessments and recommendations. From the point in which the committee was created, we moved swiftly in all the website modifications, the forming of all the social media products and platforms, et cetera. So it was a huge benefit for us. So the next page in 10, I know this looks a little funky. This looks a little complicated. But the first thing I want you to identify in the bottom right where it says website and it's in yellow, that little box right there is the part that your website company performs. Everything else on this page is what we do. All right. So if you look at the far left in the stack of this is effectively how do we get people from a platform, from an outreach, and get them to your website. And so you'll see on this side over here, you've got social media ads. Ads are absolutely completely unique and different from posting on your page. We're effectively taking social media platforms and we are reaching people that have no idea you exist. They're not following you. And we're taking advantage of the audience without being restricted by the universe in which we've got following our page. We got Facebook, Instagram. The one that we're pending is LinkedIn. The LinkedIn's format would be good for us, but it's essentially its best practice is that your director has his LinkedIn account and that we help to manage the messaging on his account. And it's something that we weren't able to get done in 25. That was something that was refused to complete. But it's definitely something that we need to do. The next box, OTT, mobile and desktop messaging. This one's a little hard to fathom, but we actually have access to every single website, app, game, channel, movie, video out there that has ad insertion capability. Okay. The way digital advertising works now is that it's called the open exchange, and we don't need to worry about whether somebody's watching the 6 o'clock news or they're watching Yellowstone or they're playing Candy Crush on their phone. What we do is we focus on their interest and intent. So if somebody's in the logistics business, if they're in maritime industry, if they are doing business in a sister port, we have the ability to target those people surgically and send our messages to them. Okay. So it's no longer important and necessary as to picking a day part, a channel, the traditional methodology of targeting people by age and gender is simply not effective. Frankly, it was not effective before, but it was the best we had. So now we have an amazing targeting capabilities that, again, we can share in a closed door conversation. We also have press releases, and down below we have YouTube videos. Now, effectively, what's happening, and this is something where we're positioned now for 26 and have a distinct advantage over other competitive ports, and that is that now that we have AI in place, something unique is happening in AI, and AI is now taking the place of Google search. We are now searching using AI to find a local restaurant or what have you. And AI works completely different than Google search. It's a whole new service requirement, et cetera. Because of, just not to bore you with the details, but effectively because we are on so many platforms, we are controlling content on so many different layers. It's exactly what stimulates AI's recommendations when you look for something. The more trees we touch in the woods, the more times that we're out there stapling our poster onto every tree in the woods, then AI is rating us as being the authority in that particular conversation. So from a strategy standpoint, 26, we are positioned much stronger than having to start off with nothing. So here's what happens. You have all these different platforms and tools, and then pushing people to, you see this thing called a landing page. The reason we use a landing page, it's a particular place in the website we want all of these ads to run. We do that primarily because that landing page should be talking about all the things that if the ad said something about come and grow with the Port Mansfield, they don't want to go to a page that talks about residential life in Port Mansfield or paying your electricity payment, et cetera. They want to go right to a conversation about partnerships and manufacturing industrial partnerships. So this is also part of the marketing plan where we have a particular page where we drive people to. It also allows us, again, to have a secondary audit verification that the traffic that went to that page happened because of what we did. That's where they started. And you're not going to start on a landing page accidentally. Okay. So the rest of this is talking about the lead nurturing. Okay. So when we have a landing page, we want people to make contact with us ultimately. So we have contact us buttons. We have, some people need get directions buttons. Some people have reservation tools, et cetera. In your case, this is downloading white papers. This is sending information about development incentives, partnership incentives that y'all may have. Everything on that bottom section is the actual, what we call the conversion portion of a website, and getting people to actually communicate and contact your team so that we can get a conversation started. That portion is also pending your new directive. It's something that was not developed. It was just couldn't get the conversation started. The top right, basically, if somebody goes to your website and doesn't do anything, we want to keep running ads to those people. So it's called a retargeting campaign. And so we also have a little side marketing plan where if anybody goes to the website, they get the ads as well. Do anybody have any questions about the structure of this?
Mm-hmm.
This is essentially the engagement funnel. This is how we control and intentionally drive people to your site using all these platforms, picking specific messaging, driving to specific target audience. So what did we build? What is actually happening? On page 11, you've got an array of website development. We've got social media pages that have been, you're on YouTube now. When it comes to the press release, you're being issued out and distributed across Google News, Associated Press, Bing, Yahoo, ChatGPT, and over 152 news and trade publications. And I want to be specific here because there's a difference between just being your press release being issued out and certain news agencies may or may not pick it up. Okay. That's a portion of this, and we can't control what people feel is newsworthy. But when you go from page 12 to 14, every one of those listed news agencies, that's actually in your live report is a live link to your published article in every one of those publications. Okay. So this is not an optional publication. You are effectively published now in over 100 trade magazines. Now, some of these may not necessarily be relevant. They're not so specific to the whether we got published on the Channel 3 website in Wichita Falls, Texas, may or not be relevant. But we are in the Texas Industry Journal. We are in energy journals, agricultural journals, logistics, trading, maritime. This is where our prospective audience reads their news. And every one of those are verifiable. If you go to page 15 where it says, okay, you're also listed in news databases like Bloomberg Journal, Muckrack, Moody's, Crunchbase, etc. Those would be the ones where they go out to the mass and people choose to pick them up or not. Now, what has effectively been the end result to this? Aside from, I haven't polled everybody, but your previous director told me specifically he was getting calls from other port directors, including the Port of Houston, noticing the activity and going on down here. And that specifically from these publications that we're running and the advertising that we're targeting. The industry is taking notice, so much so that I think it was the beginning of December, I was actually in San Antonio and I'm following something that's similar to the Rio Grande Guardian. It's called My SA. Came down and did an article and an interview specifically about what's happening in the port. They interviewed the county judge. They interviewed the city of Raymondville. And unfortunately, when they came to the Port of Port Mansfield, Williston County Navigation District, they were deferred. And your press group, your public relations organization was never notified that this opportunity to be published in another proactive, business-oriented publication was left to rot. So we want to remind everybody and encourage them that anytime we have a solicitation, a request for interview, this is what we're here for. You want to take advantage of us. You could throw away our recommendations. You could discard what we're offering. But there's no point in paying for a service that you don't take advantage of. The last bit on page 16, this is the distribution of channels within the United States and specifically in Texas. Again, some of these may or may not be relevant. I'm looking at Fox News, Fox Business, Discovery, C-SPAN. I'm looking at these that they're going out, Google, etc. And most importantly, that we are published in so many places that right now somebody did an AI search and asked for the things that are happening. You will find information on AI about the direction and the mission of the Port of Port Mansfield. Any questions about these publications? Okay. 17, page 17. We're effectively saying essentially the summary of message distribution across the multiple digital platforms, including social media and programmatic advertising outlets, which is desktop and mobile-based advertising. We are driving new visitors to the website every month. And in 2025, we delivered over 400,000 impressions for your messaging out into that strategically targeted audience. Okay. 400,000 ads have run. Press releases have been issued. We are published in over 150 publications. So what does it do? What the heck did you do for us? This is where we get to the actual executive summary. This is where the rubber meets the road. All of this data is pulled from Google Analytics. Okay. And so when you look at the graph, what you're seeing is the bold line is 25, the dotted line is 24. We have effectively 100% increase in traffic year over year to your website. And we want to make sure it's verifiable, so we'll talk about that. We've got 10,483 new sessions to your website. Border affairs related traffic accounted for 48% of that total traffic. Okay. The direct traffic was the single largest growth driver, signaling strong brand lift. What that means is the definition of direct traffic is people that actually typing your name, www.porterportmansfield.com. That had the greatest increase, and it's not uncommon, and it's an age demographic shift. Not everybody just clicks on an ad. A lot of people see the ad and they go, well, I'm interested in that, and they'll manually type the name to go to the place. We just simply don't know yet that that's actually a clickable button. And so that direct traffic, people manually typing your name, it's also, we're attributing just for conservative estimate so that there's no argument here. We're taking responsibility for maybe 40% of that lift in the direct traffic, which arguably is likely more like 80%. But we want to have something that's not argumentative. In page 19, aside from direct, the special tags that we've put into your website, the special trackers to make sure that we know definitively that the traffic that's going to your site comes from us, we actually tag it. And so you see the sources of traffic, it goes down the list in the graph there is organic, which is people just looking for stuff related to the port or Port Mansfield. None is actually direct. That's a little anomaly in Google Analytics. This is direct typing. And you see the light blue bar is 24 and the dark blue bar is 25. And so we had this staggering increase from 2,000 direct types in 24 to, I'm going to say 4,600, 4,800 direct types in 25 for your name. From our products, from the campaigns that we're running, you'll see them listed as either Border Affairs or Estrella is the platform and team that we use to execute the work. All of those bold bars with no light blue below them means that there was absolutely no traffic in 24 from that attribution. Okay. This is brand new stuff. We are effectively, if we go to page 20, this is also a unique observation. And again, this hopefully speaks to the impact of how we're doing things. You have a significant increase year over year in traffic from outside of the country. Now, typically, our clients don't need traffic from outside of the country. We're not spending any money outside of the country. Certainly, we're not spending any money outside of Texas. All of this traffic is generated because of the press releases, because of the work that we're doing. You have a 36,000% increase in traffic from China. You've got 600% increase from Singapore, 176 from Mexico, over 100% from Canada, 200 from India, et cetera, et cetera. These are key trading and shipping countries. I highlighted in yellow. These are people that are investigating trading routes. These are people that are investigating new opportunities to get their product to the U.S. market. This happened without the navigation district spending a nickel on an ad campaign. This is simply through the ad funnel creation, the improvement of the content, and the website reconfiguration that we put in place. Another way to look at it on 21, we are directly attributed to 8,000 new visitors of that 10,800. That 77% of your new traffic is auditably connected to every single ad campaign that we run. Effectively, this is a successful expansion beyond a single channel, and Border Affairs is now a core growth engine for the website. And in the graph there, it's broken down by that source, so you can see exactly the relationship between the traffic. But page 22 is also more legitimacy to, did we actually send people or did we send bots? This reflects the amount of activities on the website. And that means clicking, watching videos, reading articles, all the things that we do, everything that we do on a website. And you have a 33% increase overall and 86% increase attributed to us. This is legitimate traffic. These are real people. And we have 161% increase in website activities 2024 versus 2025. So again, to hopefully express the value and actual measurable, tangible results for what we're doing, you've got 11,000 new hits, or you had 11,000 total hits, website traffic in 24. We had 21,825. It's driven primarily 77% by border affairs campaign. But the next column, the next section there, and you see highlighted in a green circle, says traffic cost of $4,600. What that measures and reflects upon, you see the number of keywords that are going to your site. You have 276 keywords that Google is saying, you should go see the Port of Port Mansfield about that. 276 different searches that people do throughout the world that Google is now saying that Port Mansfield is a recommended result. That's a 33% increase. That's just month over month. But the way the traffic cost is estimated is if y'all went out and ran Google ads to get the same volume of traffic, because we can see what's called the cost per click and what it costs to get somebody to click on an ad to go to a website, that $4,600 is effectively the value if we went out there and just paid to get people to come to the website. So imagine the cost or value of having press releases created and published, having website modifications created, having traffic increased, and not only is that traffic being increased, but the sheer raw cost of driving that traffic, if you did it directly, would be $4,600, not including messaging development, etc. This is driven by a tool called SEMrush. Again, this is third-party audit tools. So we want everybody to be very comfortable that it's measurable, it's simple to understand, that the things that we're doing have very specific value. Anybody have any questions about this?
Hey, you got to go.
Not too many. I got two more. All right. The summary, this is effectively the summary of what we've done. We've got 92% increase in overall website traffic. And to be absolutely clear, because the website traffic driving really didn't start until September because we had to get through all the website who does what nonsense. If you take the period in which we were actually driving the traffic, it's actually a 3x increase in website traffic year over year. Okay. But looking at the entire year, averaging things out, we still doubled your traffic. That's a 737% increase in global website traffic. And we are attributed to that growth. I'm just going to skip to 26, and this is messaging recommendations. So where do we go from here? And the conversation that I'd like for us to consider as a group, again, not a voting discussion, just simply a collaboration discussion about what is important for us right now. Effectively, what we need to do is we need to continue to, we need to build a foundation for site selectors, right? If a particular site selector is approaching your website, say they're in logistics, well, their content needs to be tailored towards what benefits a logistics business. If it is a manufacturing facility, that content needs to be tailored towards people in the manufacturing world. And so as we're developing our content, we need to customize the kinds of presentations that we make. And those presentations also include, which is part of what we're supposed to be doing for you, is building the emailers. When you do get a solicitation or request, that we create that presentation that gets emailed out to people. It could be automated, it could be created in a sequence of emails, but it's designed to nurture those interests and opportunities to drive ultimately a serious conversation with the kinds of businesses that y'all would prefer to do business with. So most of the recommendations here is about creating customized content that caters to what's important for these particular industries. It's the future of driving page one placement of recommendations through AI is owning the content, developing more content that your competitors are generating, and telling the right story to the right people. So, any questions about?
Emmett, a couple of comments. The first one, just for the group, we're way beyond grapefruits. And the second one is, we will schedule, once we have a port director, we will schedule a strategic planning, review.
Okay.
And I think in that discussion is where we can give you some insights on what the commission is looking at in terms of some content.
Mhm.
And I think the third one is, again, once the director is on board, I think you will be, Board Affairs will be working hand in hand with him or her in terms of driving this thing to continue to drive this thing. I'm
Appreciate it.
very impressed. I mean, you know, I know we live in a different world. I know we live in a digital world. And sometimes I have to force myself to get out of my old ways of thinking and look at how this thing is done in terms of how can we benefit as the statutory requirement of Port Mansfield. And I think yeah, I'm just impressed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Emmett. All right, next item, review and approval of updated WCND financial and procurement policy manual.
Okay, so commissioners, at the last meeting, we had contemplated a purchase approval PO threshold set of requirements. There was one separate policy that was presented for review. But we also have this financial policy, which you all approved a couple of years ago. And so what I did is I incorporated the policy that was presented at the last meeting into the overall purchasing policy manual. Those are the only changes that were made. They begin on page 3 and they continue to page 6. And they contain purchasing authority for planned purchases, the amounts, the authority to approve for each category of amounts, who can approve an emergency purchase, and the procedures that you need to follow after that, requirements for purchase orders, thresholds for purchase orders, and thresholds for having to go out for statutory procurement, bidding, and other processes. Finally, there is a section on ethical standards and conflicts of interest.
Yeah, we went back and reviewed some of the numbers that we had changed in the previous meeting. And I think we need to revise some of the things that we changed. We changed the bid process from 50,000 to 20,000. And after looking at that 20,000 is way too low for bid process. One of the problems we have is actually getting people to come out and bid on things. And it would still have to be brought to the board, but give us a little more freedom to get contractors to come in and do things. And I think the water code stipulates 50,000.
That's what this reflects. We've got planned purchases, authority to approve. We do have requirements that let me see. $301 to just under $50,000 requires documentation such as some informal or written price quotes, comparison of market pricing, catalog or published pricing, other determinations of reasonableness. 50,000 and above has to follow formal competitive bidding procedures in accordance with state and local procurement laws. So what you're saying is up to 50,000 or up to $49,999, we shouldn't require state procurement bidding procedures. That's my understanding.
Yes,
And that's what we have in here.
But we will have, just for clarification, anything under 50,000, we will get quotes.
yes,
We'll get quotes and they come to us for approval.
Yeah, it's just not the state
Got it.
procurement
Right, the
process.
process.
It's informal quotes.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also on the PO, where, like the, department director, which would be Frank, was $300 to get it. You have to get a PO to do it. I think we need to raise that to 500. You can't buy anything for $300 anymore.
Okay.
So what you're saying is anything above 500 requires a PO?
Yes. Most of the time, we get a PO anyways, even if it's under that.
I can't spend a penny where I work without a PO.
Yeah,
And because that leaves a track record of all expenditures and purposes and
well, if it needs to go to the hardware store and buy fittings to repair a water line, you know, you can't buy that stuff for $300. I'm not sure you can buy it
Yeah.
for $500, but
yeah.
it's just day-to-day stuff.
Or
Every purchase has to be accompanied by supporting documentation.
Right.
So you gotta keep it
Yeah.
in receipts.
so yeah, I get it. I mean, you're
Kind of relieves the pressure a little bit.
okay. So as long as we have supporting documentation
Yeah,
for any and all expenses,
absolutely.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Talking about changing anywhere it says 300 would be changed to 500.
500, right.
What was a paper trail?
Yes.
Paper trail, yeah.
Right.
That's very important.
Yes. Well, I mean, we get that anyways,
Yeah,
you know.
so.
We can make that adjustment.
Mhm.
Now, we had some discussion about, we're following the 3 bid process.
Right.
What if we can't find 3 people to bid on?
Well, we're having that issue right now.
Okay, just for clarity, are we looking at bidding, when we say 3 bid process or 3 quotes, 2 different things?
Is it?
Yeah.
Explain to me,
Yeah.
man.
So a bid is, again, just some things that, and I may be wrong here, Allison, but when I hear a bid, like, and I'm reflecting it at work, if I go to a bid, then I have to publish and say, send me your bids versus quotes. Quotes.
We're talking about the difference between, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're talking about the difference between state procurement requirements, which is what Commissioner's referring to, which do follow a process. There's a certain amount of time you gotta advertise, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
And then we're talking about,
You're not talking about that.
we're talking about like the formal, informal.
Quotes.
Yeah, informal
Yeah,
quote.
quotes. So,
Okay, so I'll rephrase it. If we go out for quotes.
Yeah.
The 3 people. And one guy doesn't show up for a month. You know, oh, I just can't get there to give you, so what do we do?
Well, all you gotta do is to document that we came to that point that we only had 2.
yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
We can't,
What's the timeline we're gonna,
Well, I think it's gonna differ for,
right, I understand, I'm just trying to get some consensus.
Well, right now, we went out for quotes on repairing the boat slips. And it took us, how many months, Frank? 3-4 months we've been working on this. And we just got the second quote. We have another guy that says he's gonna come quote on it. He hasn't showed up yet
What's
for
the,
2 months.
what's the price on it, the post that you
It's
received?
around 45,000, somewhere around there. Is the 2 quotes that we've got so far.
I
So
would,
what we're saying is
and
we get our hands tied. If we have to go out for competitive bids, not only does it cost us money to do that, we have to post it in the newspaper and all that other kind of stuff, but it really delays the process of getting things done. And it's all gonna be documented anyways, you know, it's raise that level up where it's a little bit more convenient and time-wise, we can get things done
It still has to be brought before the board though, for us to
anything
approve.
above
Yeah.
20,000.
Yeah.
Of 20,000 needs to be brought to.
yeah, in
Absolutely.
terms of time, I would say, depending on what it is, anywhere from a week to 2 weeks, and that's it.
Yeah.
You didn't submit a quote?
and we need, I want to give you an example. We put out a RFQ, I mean, a bid for a $3 million expansion. We got 3 quotes and then it went down to 2.
Yeah.
So we had to go and find out, okay, what do we do? Well, if we had to reapply, and you're correct, that it takes money.
Mhm.
After the second time, it was still the same. So we got to go ahead, okay, nobody's gonna bid. And we have a window that we have to, and probably we'll have a window too.
Right.
Now, what came to mind is that on the boat slips, not every construction company works on water,
That's it.
you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that if we need to get it fixed, those 2 quotes.
Right. And actually, the 2 quotes that we have are local contractors, so.
It's even better.
I mean, I think as long as we're calling 3 different people, we're saying, hey, for documentary, we called so-and-so, we called so-and-so, and these are the ones that came back, then,
And that's
And that's
my
what
point is
yeah.
we need to. be-
As long as we're looking out and we're not just going to one person and saying, oh, we're just gonna go to X because he's here, I think we need to go out, at least say that we called 3 people, or do that, we do call 3 people, and then whoever returns back, then that's,
As long as all of that is documented.
yeah,
that's
document,
all.
we're transparent, it's document, yeah.
Okay. Well, that was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, let's, no, wait.
Not from my understanding, it's for that gentleman's understanding back there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You got that, Frank? Okay. 2, if they don't wanna come and do it, then. that's fine.
Yeah, after a reasonable amount of time, then we just need to move on and get things done.
But we do need to reach out to different people
And document that we did.
and document.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll make those changes. Is there anything else in there that y'all see that needs to be reviewed or?
On the, actually on page 3, it says, 3,001 to 20,000, says executive board director or his or her authorized representative as designated in writing. It can,
Yeah, that's
Can you
to provide
expand-
some flexibility. Let's just say the port grows, we've got more employees, maybe there's a deputy executive director. Or somebody else who might be able to field some of these approvals.
oh, okay.
And, most of the stuff we have to apply to the water code anyways, so. It's all pretty regulated, anything we do.
Make a motion, we adopt the new financial procurement policy with, changes from 300 to 500.
With proper document.
And then the 50,000 bid process.
Bid
Yeah,
process.
That's in there.
So motion made by Commissioner Kendrick, by Commissioner Cavazos, all in favor,
Right.
all opposed, motion carried. Thank you, guys. All right, consideration action on Port Superintendent FSLA status.
Okay, so at the last meeting, when we were going over Frank's job description, the job description for Frank's position, was just port superintendent. There was a comment made to me by Commissioner Trevino. Can we put exempt or can we add exempt or something? I misunderstood that. I thought I didn't remember that he was not exempt. And so I thought it was just a drafting question, but it's not. I understood that to be a drafting question.
What's a drafting question?
Well, do we add it to the job description? Like type it in and put it there?
Oh,
But what you meant was change him from non-exempt to exempt.
not him, change the
Well, the
position,
Okay,
the position.
that's what you meant.
Yeah,
correct?
so actually what I meant is, if any of the positions, regardless of the person right now, if any of the positions qualify for an exempt status, we should put them in exempt status. If the law allows it, then we should do that.
Okay,
That's what I was asking.
okay. that is an entirely separate conversation, and that really is an entirely different agenda item potentially, because there is a process to convert from non-exempt to exempt. Let's see. So the board has to, first of all, the board has to affirmatively reclassify the position, eliminate overtime and comp time eligibility, apply it prospectively, pay a fixed salary in equal installments, remove them from the hourly time clock, document the effective date and consequences of reclassification. So really, this would take more than amending his job description, but we actually have to bring it to the board and affirmatively decide that yes, reclassification is the best option here. You can actually keep him as non-exempt despite things like salary and other factors. But my point is this, I mean, this was my misunderstanding of your question. And so when I said, sure, I just meant, I thought it was a drafting issue, but it isn't. So if this is something that the board wants to entertain for certain non-exempt positions, then we need to do a bit more than just rename or reclassify verbally.
I really don't see any reason to change it.
Well, since we're going through these job descriptions and everything, that's what brought the question. And again, I'm not targeting one position. I'm saying across the board, if there's anything that qualifies for an exempt position. And let me be very clear, I'm exempt. That doesn't mean they can work me to death. Let me be very clear. It's, you know, if I work extra hours beyond 40, then I take a couple of hours off, maybe not 1 for 1. So I want to make that very clear. But the other one is, if the law allows for a position to be exempt, I think we should look into it and talk about it. Doesn't mean we should do it.
Okay,
But
well, we need to
we
do
need
that as a separate agenda item.
Exactly.
We can do that next.
Later on. And there's no rush on that.
That way we can discuss. it.
Exactly.
Executive first.
Well, we need the pros and the cons and how it's gonna affect
Yeah.
that position.
And again, I'm repeating myself. It's because we're going through these job descriptions in the future and so forth.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay. So that, we're not gonna do any action on that. Yeah, well, we're just
No,
gonna
it's no
postpone it.
action.
Yeah,
So as of right now, he is status quo. He is non-exempt.
right.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing has changed.
Okay.
But we do want to look into that and put it on a
Put it
future.
on the agenda for next month. So we can be thinking about it.
Right.
Okay, next item, consideration and adoption of updated WCND job description for harbor master.
Okay, so this is just in line of what we've been doing. In your packet, you have a formal harbor master job description. It's based on information I received from staff late last year. Describes what the functions are, what the essential functions are, knowledge, skills, abilities, education, certificates. Basically, it's what she does or what the position requires, put into writing.
Basically the same thing we've been doing with the other positions.
Yes.
Which, by the way, the one we have now does a very good job. We have to get Sue a bullhorn. She can start hollering at people that are making way.
Rain radio.
Yeah,
Under this number 3, fuel-based operational tracking,
yeah.
I understand why maintain fish out and bait. I understand what that was, but I don't think it's applicable anymore.
It's not possible
Or
anymore.
don't sell any fish commercially there.
Yeah, we can delete that item out of there.
The entirety of, let's see.
Yeah, we don't have a fish house and.
But-
I mean, you, maybe in the future we might, so maybe you want to leave it in there. I don't know. Yeah, that's fine.
Leave it.
We do have also a tariff established for fish.
Right.
However, finding out what that poundage in order to apply a tariff to it, we don't know what it is.
No scale.
Well, nobody's gonna come in there and say, hey, I caught 2,000 pounds of drum yesterday.
Yeah,
Not gonna tell you that.
Well, because we're not
we
monitoring.
don't have any way of regulating that anyway, so.
We come across that in the past. And in the future, we might.
You may have a fish house in the
If
future.
there is an actual fish house
Mm-hmm.
where transactions take place, we can require them to provide us with records. Right now, that doesn't exist.
No, I agree. You know, we need, hopefully, future,
Yeah,
we do come across this, we are better prepared than having to go through the.
yeah, we'll just leave it in there for future.
Yeah, I think it's it.
Yep. So we'll need a motion to accept that.
Make a motion that we accept that.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Cavazos,
Second.
second by Commissioner Kendrick, all in favor?
Yeah.
All opposed, motion carried. Next item is consideration and appointment of PMPUD board members. We've got two that are up, both of them are reappointments with existing members. We did have one other application turned in. The two that are on there right now, of course, Mr. Trapp is actually the president of the PUD. And Michael Bourne owns the RV park there in town, in Port.
Them one by one?
Doug Trapp, he's current president of the PUD.
No, I'm saying, do we vote on them one by one?
Yes,
I move that we appoint Doug Trapp as a UD member.
motion made by Commissioner Trevino, second by Commissioner Cavazos, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next one is Michael Bourne. He is also current member of the board. And he's the owner of R&R RV Park. Been on the board a long time.
Make a motion that we appoint. Right.
Motion made by Commissioner Cavazos,
That's the one. There's two of them, right? Or three
There's
positions.
two positions,
Oh,
two positions. We've already voted on the first one. Now we're voting on the second one. Michael Bourne.
I make a motion to appoint Mario Garcia.
I'll second that.
A motion made by Commissioner Reyes, second by Commissioner Trevino. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
so there was only two,
Yeah.
slots. Oh, yeah, I misunderstood. I thought there were three.
Yeah, and okay, well, we're,
Oh, okay. Then I misunderstood that. I thought there was two positions. That was my point.
yeah,
Two positions, but there's three
Oh,
people.
okay.
3 people.
yeah.
Darling. All right, it's early in the day.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Is that unanimous? I just want to be clear.
One against.
Okay, when you said all opposed, I thought I heard you say.
Well, what we're doing is Michael Bourne, who is a sitting member,
I
is now
understand.
no longer a sitting member.
Okay, I just,
We're replacing him.
you heard the way I did, but I just wanted to clarify.
All right, next item is consideration and action on the acquisition of a brush truck for the Port Mansfield Fire Department. This is a grant from the fire service. It's not a grant, it's a payback program, which is real similar to a TxDOT program that we have going right now. We have $20,000 in the budget, and what they have to do is they actually have to pay for the truck first, and then they get reimbursed after they take delivery. I think it's half of it to order the truck.
75,000 is what they're asking.
Okay, to order it, and then they're gonna borrow the rest of the money from the bank to buy the truck, and we're gonna contribute $20,000 to that.
Can I ask,
Sure.
you were the fire department, sir?
Yeah.
Chief,
Okay, do you have contact with the Raymondville Fire Department? Okay,
Yes, yeah, we have a mutual aid agreement, we're not only with Raymondville, but all.
Okay.
well,
that's,
the last structure fire that we had a month or so ago, actually, the brush truck is a single operator vehicle, basically. And that truck was on scene first and started fighting the fire before we got there with the engine, you know, because everybody's got to bunker out and all that stuff, and it takes a little bit of time. So they were already on scene fighting the fire before the engine showed up with more personnel. So it's important to have a emergency strike, you know, something that can get on scene quickly. And the brush truck we have is old. It's a limited amount of water on it. This one's going to carry more water,
Yes, sir.
1,000 gallon,
500 gallons.
500 gallons. And believe me, you can fight a lot of fire with 500 gallons. So it was pretty impressive the way it worked last time. Even though we're short on personnel, we were able to save the house and got the fire extinguished pretty quick. So the brush truck was a big plus for that.
So it's 75,000 and we contribute 20. That's a huge loan for the department. Do you
Yeah,
feel?
correct.
Do you feel
We have other support. The local ranches, several of them
Okay.
have donated quite a bit of money.
Okay,
And it's all part of it. But now this particular truck, though, would function, as Eric said, as a first response to anything, but
Sure.
also in the event of a hurricane or any high water, it would also be a high water.
multi-service
Right.
unit.
It's a 550,
Pardon me?
is it 550?
It's a 650, F-650 Ford.
650.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a big truck.
Oh, it's a Ford. I'm kidding.
I voted,
Wait, do y'all work with San Bernardino? With the
Yes,
city of San
ma'am, we
Bernardino?
work with
So y'all do
fire.
cover, like if something happens in San
Yes, ma'am.
Bernardino?
We have mutual aid.
They
have a mutual aid.
Raymondville showed up, Lyford
Right.
showed up
Any structure fire, we call for mutual aid immediately.
Immediately.
Raymondville is always the first one to show.
But San Bernardino doesn't have any type of fire, right? I mean, they don't, do they?
They have some brush trucks, but they also show up. Yes,
Yeah.
they've helped us out
Okay.
on several occasions, and us them. That's how it
Okay.
works.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
and the reason I asked you if you collaborate with the Raymondville Fire Department, I know that they've gotten equipment from other entities.
Yes, there's a lot of ways.
But what I'm trying to say is that maybe we can have a line of communication with them in case that they offer them any other fire department in the valley wants to donate to Raymondville, and Raymondville says no, but Port Mansfield needs it.
Yes.
That was the question I was asking.
Yeah, we also work with McAllen
Oh, great,
Fire
great,
Department
great.
and San Juan. There's been several fire departments that have helped us with equipment.
Oh,
Now,
great.
mostly it's used equipment, but
Mhm.
that's what you get from the
Mhm.
fire.
Having been involved with the volunteer fire department at a very young age, I know fundraising is kind of tough.
Yes.
Have
sir.
you secured the loan with the bank?
Actually, now, in the past, this is our second Forest Service grant.
Okay,
Our current pumper was done on the same program. And what they do is, just like Eric was saying, they approve the grant, but you have to have the apparatus in the firehouse paid for, and then they reimburse you for that. And it's a 5% matching grant, so we have to come up with 5%.
Which is not bad.
$65,000.
No way.
But we have spoke with the bank. We don't want to borrow that money until the truck is coming, so our interest payment
Sure.
is
That's
as
correct.
little as possible.
That's right.
Great.
I move that we pay for the give $20,000 as budgeted. It is in the budget, correct?
Is in the budget, yes. All right, motion made by Commissioner Trevino and seconded by Commissioner Cavazos. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, consideration and action regarding the lease of lots 13 through 23, Fort Mansfield Original Township, town site to Texas Parks and Wildlife.
Yeah.
This is interesting. I was,
Where's that at?
huh?
Which are
Is
lots?
that outside or where?
It's actually the West Bulkhead.
Where's-
Here's what they're proposing. This is Texas Parks and Wildlife Law Enforcement Operational Center, Fort Mansfield, Texas. Phase 1, proposed building, 150 by 80. Metal building, galvanized and wind rated on concrete slab. Building will have 6 20 by 35 boat stalls with 16-foot overhead doors. An additional 20 by 80 boat stall. They're bringing in a 42-foot boat. 2 20 by 35 repair bays, 38 by 40 spare truck bay and mechanic shop, approximately 2,000 square foot of finished out space. The finished out will be classrooms for conducting training for youth hunts and boater education. Bunk room, restrooms, kitchen area, utility room, and an evidence room. Other infrastructure, concrete helipad, a diameter 60 foot, boat lifts, and paved parking.
Why aren't they here? Why don't they come and present? I think that's a,
Well,
Do we have that?
I just printed this out.
Can we have copies of it?
Yes, we get copies of it.
where is that located exactly? Like,
West Bulkhead,
where?
which is right here. Which is the bulkhead that we had decided we weren't gonna do, and then found out that we couldn't do that. So it's be a great utilization. Plus, it's another level of law enforcement for port. And this is not gonna be just a place to keep their boats. They're also from time to time, they'll be bringing the big boat in too. I don't know what that thing is, 100 foot or 120 foot. So,
How big are the lots in that area that they're gonna be taking up?
well,
What?
don't know the exact size of the lots individually.
Do you know the size of the lots or how? I feel like this should
Yeah,
have, and that should be presented by them.
That what?
Yeah, it was,
The whole,
yeah,
Basically, this whole thing.
yeah, the whole thing.
it's not that big an area though.
This is not bulkheaded down here.
Let's
This
wait
is
next
And take all that area down there, just the bulkheaded area.
Okay, so probably 18, 19, 20, or 18 through 23, I think.
See, where's the marina there?
This is the new area that we remember where this is the second, the
This
second.
is the marina.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's way down from the marina. The other bulkhead is back down here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's where the
That's the
cement
big
slab is.
That's the big bulkhead. This one's a short bulkhead.
Oh, okay.
This is the
So
second,
like
yeah, this is phase 2.
230 feet or something like that. Yeah. And they have access to the airport right across the street, and they have 2 planes that they're gonna be flying in and out. So it's a great opportunity, I think, for port to have another level of law enforcement and in the future, maybe attract Coast Guard.
I personally would
Yeah.
like to see somebody and talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Before making this decision.
If I can interject, I think the idea here is to gauge interest and we would bring back the actual drafted lease, which I haven't done yet, with all the details for final approval.
Right. And the other part of this is I was actually approached by Neil Wilkins from the East Foundation. The East Foundation is going to finance this project along with CCA and probably LSAWS. So it's a joint venture, and then they're gonna lease it back to Parks and Wildlife for 10-year period, over how long it takes for them to get their investment back.
Okay, so we're not leasing it to Texas Parks and Wildlife directly.
Yes, we will.
No.
But you just said that East Foundation.
They're gonna supply the funds to build the building and put the structures and stuff up, but the property will actually be leased to Texas Parks and Wildlife
By us.
by us.
I mean, I'm interested in learning more.
Mhm.
I'm real interested in learning more, but I obviously wouldn't make a decision right now.
No, you're not in a position.
Yeah,
to Make a
correct.
decision. except do we move
But
forward?
it sounds promising,
Yeah.
I think it's exciting for the port.
Good.
All right, so we all want to postpone that?
Yes.
Well,
Huh?
whatever.
I mean, I think we ought to, I think it's a great opportunity.
Allison, the authority, go ahead and ride up east,
Right.
right?
Yep.
We'll have
Through Texas, and we'll have to communicate with them, with Texas Parks
Exactly.
and Wildlife.
I move we,
exactly which lots need to be in there and which,
Yeah.
obviously they'd like the bulkheaded area because they're gonna potentially have boats to
Well,
move.
they want to put boat slips in, park that 42-footer, and also to bring the 100-footer in. And this also does one other thing. You have a or state entity in there. The state's gonna have a hard time rejecting us dredging.
gives us leverage. Yeah, I agree.
So
You were gonna move?
solves one of the problems for dredging.
I'm just gonna make a motion just to hold off and until the next meeting till we get more information or
I don't know what else we can get other than,
I want to speak to the.
we have
I
a
wanna
commitment
meet
from them.
the-
Well, I would like to, if I may, Stacy, is move that we authorize legal to get with Parks and Wildlife and draft a lease agreement.
Sure.
I think that's a good start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think like that we don't delay more.
Yeah. And here's the other thing too, is we had our text dot meeting yesterday, which was pretty uneventful. There hasn't been any progress on the project for 2 months or a month anyways. But anyways, one of the questions I asked was how long it was going to take for them to finish that west side. And what did he say, 2 months?
Yeah.
They could be complete with it.
Yeah.
The facility that they have their boats in right now in port, which they don't have an office there, all they have is boat stalls. They're losing that lease. They've been in that, I don't know how long they've been in that building, Jack?
Long time.
No, actually.
20 years.
20 years, yeah, so they have to have a place to move their stuff to. So they want to get moving on this pretty quick.
So that's my motion, is
Okay.
to authorize legal to look into and work.
I think it's a good start. Yeah.
Okay,
All right, motion made by Commissioner Trevino, second by Commissioner Cavazos, all in favor? All opposed, motion carried. Good deal.
It's a great idea.
I think it's a super idea.
See what's.
We'll get,
Details.
yeah, as we get further into it, we'll get more details, but
There's no sense in them going through it if we can't have a consensus that
yeah.
they want to do it.
Yeah.
They're putting
I want to do it.
a lot of engineering work into that thing.
That's what I think that.
Yeah, and in this proposal, that was one of the things that I talked with, is that let's give us a basic overview of what you want to do, and then once we have a consensus that we want to move forward, then we'll get more details.
and I would love to have them present,
Mhm.
talk to them.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Okay.
absolutely. All right, consideration approval regarding legal review and verification of action signatures and procedural compliance with port lease documents.
I didn't include this in the packet because it's a letter for me and I know this is Commissioner Hendrick's item, but I'll just start. I was asked to take a look at the files, for 5 leases. They're listed.
You got one?
There.
I got one.
Yes. Oh,
Steve.
And just verify look at the four corners of the document, verify signatures, board action, and presume validity. And I'll just say that I did review each lease. I confirmed that they were signed by either the board chair at the time or the chair pro tem in certain circumstances, countersigned by the secretary. They were attested to by staff and are apparently put on the agenda for approval. And I didn't see anything that suggested that proper procedures were not followed.
And this is in line with
What brought this up?
this is in line with the audit review that we did on leases that were in question
Okay.
2 years ago or a year ago, whenever it was. That we would have it reviewed. Steve and I reviewed the leases and we couldn't find anything that was questionable. And so then we turned it over to our legal for them to review. And I think pretty much the same findings were found. So
Okay, that closes that chapter.
it closes that chapter and it was done by our legal department. So
And that's what we.
that's what needed to be done. It just took time to get it done.
If we were to go back and review prior discussions around this topic, I think we'll find where it was voted, approved by the board. Put a statement in the paper. Somebody else.
That'd be a great
I
idea.
think it'd be important
We
for,
could have Allison write us up with a little statement saying
Yeah.
that.
it'd be important for the folks that were involved in this. So
Or you could have your,
We tend to forget
PR.
after the
Yeah.
election, all of the
We
BS
do
that's
that.
I
thrown
think the
around.
PR
But-
firm would be.
But if you can draft something, Allison, I'm just thinking because, and it might just be that it's a summary of your findings and it's,
Well,
I don't know. What do you
it
say?
can be a pretty short statement.
I think that's more appropriate for your PR. firm
Okay.
To do, because that's not a
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
public,
Okay.
report.
But we would like for you to review it before it goes public.
Absolutely.
Got it. But I agree with Steve, we need to put this out. Yeah, okay.
Either that or I'll write it up.
So,
Got a napkin?
There's been a lot of good contracts done on a napkin, you know?
I have my own story.
Yeah.
I move that we accept the findings as presented by the law firm in relation to the said properties.
And we will public,
And then we'll
notice.
put a public notice.
Motion made by Commissioner Trevino, second by Commissioner Kendrick. All in favor?
Right.
Opposed, motion carried. Chairman's report. Update on the seawall project. There's really not much to update because they haven't been there for the last month. One good thing is we won't receive an invoice from Russell Marine for the next 2 months, which is going to give us an opportunity to really get caught up, which we're doing really good right now as far as payments to Russell Marine. The dredging project, I understand the dredge is in the cut. So they said they were going to mobilize the second week of January, and by golly, they're doing it. So they're moving in. Something else I was going to talk about, and I can't remember what it was. You got any questions on anything that's going on? We can answer. One of the things I wanted to mention too is Mr. King brought up about drainage on the west side where we're selling those lots. I got with Frank and we did put in a 25-foot easement that we're going to put drainage underneath from the, I guess that would be the north side to the south side. We're going to put a drainage pipe underneath there, which is going to relieve a lot of the water on the north side of that road.
Westport.
Yeah, on Westport. So that's already been considered to do that.
Now, let me ask you, when I was listening to, and I thank him for his expertise, didn't we hire an engineering firm to make sure that we did it the correct way, that it's in the best quote unquote flow of it?
I don't think we need to do that.
No, no, I'm saying that in the past.
Mhm.
No, we haven't in the past. That I know of.
Project.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
for the
Yeah.
project.
Huh?
Yeah, you had
As an engineer.
Yeah.
Civil Works project. Yeah, CSRS, and then it was the engineer before that.
Oh, well, for those projects,
Pearson.
but.
Yeah.
all we're gonna do is put a culvert underneath the road.
Oh,
No, 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 I hear you and I get it. I'm just saying that in terms of making sure that the engineering recommendations were to par in terms of what was the best practice for that.
We can do that.
Why it was missed.
Why, yeah, I guess that's what I'm asking.
What do you mean why it was missed?
Was it missed? Why are
No.
we having to add
This is-
something?
This is just something that's concerning when we decided to sell the lots, that it was gonna back water up on the north side of that road, which
Oh.
we have a drainage issue over there already. This is gonna alleviate
I got you.
that drainage issue.
Yeah.
And all we're gonna do is cut the road. We're gonna put a 20-inch culvert or whatever size is necessary, and that water's gonna drain back across on the west side.
I'd like to go out there and see it,
Okay,
just to kind of get a better understanding if I can see.
anytime. Anything else?
Um, with the dredging project, what about that other, company that we were with, the one that we sat in at that meeting? Is that,
Yellow,
GLO, is that going along with it?
that's a dead issue.
It's dead issue, I mean.
Okay, whatever happened with that?
I thought that they were gonna,
What happened was we got involved in a grant, and I think I don't know if I told
We
you.
covered it.
Yeah,
But so
Yeah.
that's,
that's dead.
Oh, okay.
They're supposed to be sending us a waiver to sign off on that, and
oh, I thought they were gonna get somebody to cover it. The waiver was to
Yeah.
get,
waivers to get us off the hook.
okay,
And then they're gonna
Understanding
find
was that-
financing somewhere else.
okay.
And in the first meeting we had with GLO,
to continue
yeah,
the project is what it's still gonna continue, it's just
good thing that came out of it,
financing.
it cost us $100, was now the navigation district has a dredge permit. We can do maintenance dredging at the jetties as long as we can afford to pay for it. It's not gonna be a Corps of Engineers project, and that permit's good for 10 years.
Or the mouth of the harbor.
Yeah, and when I talked with,
Did you
No.
ever send it to us?
when I talked with the Corps, after they explained to me what this permit was for, I asked him about the mouth of the harbor, and he said this would be a good opportunity to extend that permit to actually do that also, since we already have a permit. The GLO part, the part of it where we got the permit,
Mm-hmm.
it mimics the same areas that the Corps is going to put the dredge material.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what this permit limits us to is putting dredge material on the north beach. That's where our designated area will be, if we dredge the mouth of
Mhm.
the jetties. It's going to be basically beach reclamation project.
But the GLO and the dredging are working together still,
Yeah.
right? It's just that we signed a waiver to take us off the financial burden.
We're not on the hook for $288,000.
Yeah, okay, good.
So they'll continue with that.
Yeah.
And they're looking into like the environmental aspect of it and where they're gonna put all the,
Yeah, they're gonna put some rookery islands in, but that's
Their thing,
all on them.
that's their thing, not ours.
And they are making pretty good progress down at Benny's Cut, that rookery island, which we don't have anything to do with, but. Anything else y'all want to discuss?
Gotta keep.
I know I got a little off point, but
Gotta keep it to those.
all right.
those items.
All right, next item, review and consideration of residential and commercial transfer of leases, boat stall leases, transfer of collateral, transfer of leases. And you have that in your book, not very many.
I move that we accept the transfers of leases as presented.
It,
Oh,
You know,
go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's peaceful light. He conveying his boat stall. Is
Yes.
that the same guy that bought the trailer?
It hasn't, we haven't received the paperwork yet, but yes,
It's the same person.
yes.
Well, that's my motion to accept them as
Okay,
presented.
motion, by Commissioner Trevino, second by Commissioner Cavazos, all in favor? All opposed, motion carried. Next item, review and consideration of checks and vouchers and any discussion and comments on monthly budget report.
Got a little formatting issue. P&L and balance sheets. And it's due to the fact that we have this line of credit that when we adopted our budget back
June,
June, we didn't foresee having that,
right,
having to do that. So now, because it's not in the budget process.
throws it out of whack.
Where.
Yeah.
Doesn't pick it up on here.
Got it.
So the numbers don't necessarily tie together unless you, I mean, it won't print, they tie together, but it won't print it out where you and I can see it.
Right,
Virginia can see it on hers, but, you know, so we need to make some modifications to our budget. Not just make a motion actually that we incorporate the line of credit into our budget process.
makes it easier to read.
Right,
Yeah,
as of now.
That just makes a lot of sense,
yeah.
because it'll capture that.
Motion made by Commissioner Kendrick, second by Commissioner Cavazos, so we'll incorporate that into our budget.
And approve the expenditures as presented.
Approve the expenditures, right, Steve?
On me?
And approve the expenditures.
You have two
Yeah.
separate motions.
I just want to.
Is that for that same?
What can we do on that first?
Yeah, you
Appropriate.
just have two
Oh.
action items.
Okay.
One per subject.
Okay. So he's got one.
And I second it.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
So we're gonna do it in two motions, one to add the line of credit,
Okay,
and then we have to do another one to approve the
Okay.
expenditure.
so that motion's already been made by Commissioner Kendrick,
Correct.
seconded by Commissioner Cavazos. All right, that motion carried. Now we need a motion to accept accept the checks and vouchers. Don't get me confused.
Cash flow wise, we're ahead above water.
Yes, we're doing pretty good.
Thanks.
Finally.
The good news is at least money should be coming in.
Coming in.
relatively
Yeah.
soon.
In the next couple of months.
I move that we accept the checks and vouchers as presented.
Motion made by Commissioner Trevino. That's by Commissioner Kendrick. All in favor?
Right.
Opposed? Motion carried.
What was Westwood Professional Services? 69,000.
But good.
Mm-hmm.
It's engineering, yeah.
It's engineering revenue.
We,
Okay.
that's the same as CSRS.
You choose. Engineering?
Westwood bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's
You
gonna
get,
be,
sometimes you get both names, sometimes you get one.
Well, they did mention that they were going to operate under CSRS for the next few months until they incorporated everything together or whatever. Yeah.
okay. We're journey.
And anything else?